Welcome everybody to the Mr. Boxing Guru podcast. It is me, Sal, Mr. Boxing Guru. Hope everybody's having a good week. This week we're starting a little late because, you know what? Big shout out to my wife. It was her birthday. She turned 25 again for like the 10th time. So, saludos y Melinda for your birthday. Big shout out to Los Anaya, Christian and Raul Anaya too. They gave me this beautiful intro that you guys heard. Go out and hear them out, man. These guys are really doing great music. Mariana, I think is their first song that's out there. It's on Spotify, iTunes, and wherever good music is listened to. So make sure you guys take a listen to. But again, it was my wife's birthday, so decided to do a little celebration. Went out with her for a bit. But I'm here for you guys, como siempre. Duro y a todo canal. First things first, we got a lot to talk about, guys. I mean, we got what, Teofimo Lopez stopping Diego Magdaleno, Oscar Valdez, Kovalev, Abner Mares unfortunately suffers a detached retina, and much more. So let's get to it. Again, a lot of good stuff to talk about. So let's dive right in. And first things first, of course, let's talk about the takeover. Teofimo Lopez continues the takeover and stops Diego Magdaleno in 7th round. An unnecessary 7th round. Let's be honest. It was one of those fights that, it was one of those fights that it's a development process. And that's one thing Top Rank has always been good at developing these young monsters. And this was the perfect fight for a kid like Teofimo Lopez at the right time. We all know that Diego Magdaleno can't pop that much. He's a guy that uses legs a lot, so he was gonna be able to give Teofimo Lopez a lot of angles, a lot of movement, and of course rounds, which in my opinion the kid needs. Look, he's not the top prospect. What is it? Almost 2 years running for no reason. This guy seems to be the real deal. I mean, what we see from Teofimo Lopez, what we wish we seen in other prospects that are coming up, but he's everything. It almost seems everything you want from a fighter, and he almost hits every demographic. You know, for the TMT wearing broke dudes, he does the shoulder roll for you guys, so you guys could see a little bit of that. For the all aggressive people that like, just bangers, Kid can bang. Kid is strong, and for those of you guys that really like boxer punchers, he gives you that as well. So he hits each and every demographic, and that's what we want in a fighter. And I'm just like the rest of you guys, man. I'm in the Teofimo Express. I love the kid. I love to see him fight. Every time he fights, he's must watch TV, and then the kid's the real deal. Now, what do you do with him now? I mean, where does he go? I mean, he's at 135, where, of course, guys like Loma, guys like Mikey Garcia hold a portion of the belt. So what does he do now? Does he, just wait and try to fight some of those guys? In my opinion, a lot of these guys like Loma and Mikey are either in their way back up to, of course, Mikey now to 47, and Loma, heard rumors that he might be going down. So who knows? I think, in my opinion, he should stay at 135 and try to bang it out and maybe get a couple of more fights. Unless he's having, of course, trouble with his weight, then, of course, I agree with him going to 140. Not 140, you got guys like Ramirez and whatnot. So that presents his own set of trouble. But it's fights that he could win. Now, one other thing that I kind of wanted to get into was how the whole fight set itself up. Because, look, in my opinion, I think, if I'm not mistaken, his trainer's name, his last name is Salas. Salas never should have allowed Diego to enter that 7th round. There was no reason for that fake bravado that you could do this, you could do that. You know what your fighter can do. Your fighter can't knock anybody out. Not a fighter not of this caliber. I mean, I know that the Magdaleno brothers have this Mako thing or whatever that means I'm gonna knock you out or something like that, but they really can't hurt anybody. Not at this level, especially not Diego. So what what do you do with a fighter? Why does my problem here again is, why does a corner have to be more brave or braver than the actual fighter? There's no reason for Jesse to take that. I'm sorry, not Jesse, but Diego to take that type of punishment. Absolutely no reason. Why let this kid fight? That's what fucking pisses me off. There's no reason for it. Stop being brave. And that goes for all these trainers. Stop being brave. It's not really worth it. Let your fighter fight another day. At the end of the day, his paycheck is already secured for this fight. Let's move on, man. Let these kids live a little, man. Stop being so damn brave. Another thing that kind of pissed me off is the celebration. I have no problem with Teofimo Lopez celebration. As a matter of fact, I encourage it. I like clowning around. I love the fact that he celebrates. But one of the reasoning behind that shovel thing he did at the end when you saw Diego Magdaleno in the floor and it almost adding insult to injury and saying like just shoveling shit and throwing it back, that was very disrespectful. Look, you got the guy there. Thank the guy. He's there as your opponent to make you better, to make you look good to a certain extent. Because we all know you were going to beat this kid. Why add insult to injury and just belittle the guy already? I mean, I heard something about him in his saying something about, oh, he was being raised against my country. But at the same time, I saw a video where Teofimo Lopez was bullying the little kid Ryan Garcia in another fight. And his father dropping all these N-bombs because that's just the way he is. And so why is being racist on one portion of the... I mean, why is being racist at all? I mean, it's okay. It's not. And at the end of the day, I don't know what Diego Magdaleno's people said. If they say anything, regarding his Central American background. One, that wasn't cool. But at the end of the day, you beat him. He's there to help you. Be the better man. You are the better man, Teofimo. Just chill. Congratulate the guy. Thank the guy for giving you those beautiful 7 rounds and move on, man. You're on to better things. We all know that. You all know that. Why let this shit get to you, man? It's really not worth it. In the, I guess you could say, this time it actually wasn't the co-main event, but it was Oscar Valdez fight that I know a lot of people were actually waiting for. Looking forward to, because we wanted to know how. There were so many questions that a lot of us had for this fight. How is Oscar Valdez going to look after 11-month layoff? How is he going to look now with the self-appointed best trainer of the year? How is the jaw going to hold up? There were so many questions that as a fan, I talked about it in my very first podcast. I wanted answers to. And I believe we got some of the answer, or we almost got what we thought were the right answers. First things first, Oscar looked good. For a guy that hasn't fought in 11 months, and they came back from having a broken jaw. God knows how those monsters were in his head, but somehow he got through them. He looked good. He tried to implement a style that's really new to him, but nonetheless, he looked good. He looked good. He tried jabbing his way. He didn't throw a lot of punches away. Now my question is, working with a guy like with Eddie Reynoso, is he taking away from what plain and simple is Oscar Valdez? He's a brawler. He's a beautiful brawler. That's a guy that throws a lot of punches, or is it just too soon to tell what they really can do? In my opinion. Again, the kid looked good for that amount of time, but if we're gonna just be plain blunt, I really didn't like what I saw. Guys at 126 pounds, throw a lot of punches. They need to be active. They need to move a lot. They need to just, again, plain and simple, throw a lot of chingazos, and that's not what I saw from Valdez. Yes, he placed his punches right, but I'm not sure he's gonna be able to keep a better opponent off of him for him trying to experiment with these new angles that Eddie Reynoso obviously has been successful with a guy like Canelo Alvarez. Now, look, guys, in my opinion, the trainers come and go. You could change it, and I think Sergio Moro says something about you could change trainers, change gyms, change gloves, but you have to realize you got to change yourself. I don't know if this new trainer is really going to work out for him. It seems like they're trying to implement something that you almost see something is there, but we didn't exactly see it come to fruition. And that's something that I'm waiting for to see, hopefully, in his next fight. I hope he gets another opponent like this Carmine guy. That way, again, he could continue to work on these. I would hate to see Oscar Valdez get thrown in there with another champ yet. Let him get rid of these spider webs. Let him get rid of these monsters. And then we can maybe move forward into with a maybe tougher opponent. But again, speaking of comebacks, again, we had Kovalev actually outpointed Alvarez. Alvarez, man, the reincarnation of Tito Trinidad. Solid guy. I think even last week when I did the podcast, I said, well, maybe this is just going to be another repeat of what happened. I thought maybe Alvarez was going to be too good. Too strong for Kovalev, and maybe Kovalev had just, mentally had a lot of wars. Again, the two fights with Ward, one of them, of course, in my opinion, he won the first fight with Ward. The second fight, again, he was just took an utter ass beat. Then he fight Alvarez, and Alvarez somehow knocks him out. A guy that really doesn't have that many knockouts to his resume. So you got to think about if a guy like that knocked him out, that means really Kovalev really isn't there. So the rematch comes on. As the time goes on, I start kind of analyzing things like, look, he's fighting Buddy McGirt. He's fighting under Buddy McGirt's tutelage. Buddy McGirt's a hell of a trainer. He's been able to transform, and he's been able to help a lot of these fighters out, and especially a lot of these fighters at the later part of their career. Of course, we had Gotti. We had Tarver, if I'm not mistaken, he helped out too. But he helps them use their natural advantage and shows them how to, stand behind a jab and capitalize on fighters coming in. And that's when I kind of changed my prediction. And that was just on my own. A lot of the friends that I have that messaged me, especially a lot of these guys that like to bet, messaged me and said, this Kovalev's a huge underdog in this. Is he worth putting money? And I said, absolutely. If you have an extra $20 in your pocket, he's going to make you a lot of money. So, and I know some folks came across, actually did the bet and actually made some bucks. So, and made me look like a genius. But nonetheless, Kovalev won the fight. He fought behind that jab. He didn't throw any stupid punches. In the very beginning, it seems like he was a bit skittish in the first, second, or third round. But it was a landslide of a fight. I think at least I gave Alvarez maybe 3 rounds, if that, maybe 4, really pushing it. But it was just a great fight, and you kind of get happy to see fighters like that somehow get beat up 2 fights in a row and just somehow figure out a way to come back. And I know Kovalev was fighting a lot of monsters, and honestly, whatever happens to a fighter outside of the ring, it's none of my business. I know that there was a lot of uproar behind his legal battles that he had. I get it. He has, in my opinion, he should go through the process like everybody else does. But I don't remember anybody burning their Michael Jackson CDs. At least some of you guys that are with the outrage. So, but yeah, that's what happened with Kovalev, and of course the NWA shirt continues and somehow revives itself again, and we still have Kovalev. We somehow still have Golovkin, and of course no news on Golovkin, and we have Canelo. So big shout out to those 3 because they're still keeping the NWA shirt alive. But yeah, that was the weekend. A lot of good fights that happened, a lot of great events, but let's actually move on to the next week's fight, which is of course the Abner Mares fight. That's not going to happen, unfortunately. Abner Mares suffers another detached retina and has to pull out of the Gervonta Davis fight. So, as a boxing fan in Southern California, what do you do? With a clear, especially me, I got the question asked, okay, so Mares isn't fighting. I'm a big Mares fan. What am I going to do? Do I still go to the fight? What is it that I do now? I have my ticket, and I'm a big Mares fan, but then again, this is PBC fight where they're bringing all these fighters that no one knows about. I say, you know what? If you're here, go to Indio. If you made the flight to come to LA, go to Indio. Indio, the folks at Golden Boy are going to put on a great fight. Other than the Francisco Ochoa fight, I really don't care about the Sub fight. No, I'm not going to put on a tailgate there. It's not worth it. No, I'm not going to just... It's not worth the fight to go to. And so yeah, what I'm gonna do, I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I'm gonna go to India. It might be 2 hours away. People say, "Oh, why go to India? It's 2 hours away. It's so far. You can do the tailgate and whatnot." No, I don't care. Look, you're gonna tell me that Golden Boy and DAZN are putting on a fight where you got. I mean, you got what? Oscar Duarte, which is one of my favorite prospects that are coming up right now. Genaro Gomez versus Striker. You got Charles Huerta versus Jojo Diaz. Rey Vargas versus Manzanilla. And of course, you got the Machado fight versus Andrew Cancio. These are legitimate fights, and that's not even it. Because from my understanding, they still have another 3-4 fights. So this is a legit card that's going on in India. These are 2 championship fights, and honestly, it should be really 3 if Jojo really had his belt. But this Charles Huerta, just think about this. This fight with Charles Huerta versus Jojo. Jojo's, of course, is fighting in a weight class he's never been to. Charles, we always know Charles comes to fight. We all saw his fight versus Striker. We saw his fight versus The Solution as well, which is one of those fights that I thought he won. So we know he comes to fight. Rey Vargas, again, he owns a portion of the WBC belt. And again, versus Manzanilla, which is, again, a good, solid fight. Of course, Machado, man, one of my favorite Puerto Ricans, if not probably the only Puerto Rican that's out there right now, versus Andrew Cancio. Cancio always comes to fight. He gives you a lot of shit. He gives a lot of fighters a lot of shit. So he's gonna make it a war. It's a fight that he should lose, but it's a fight that he's going to be there to win. So yeah, I'm gonna go hang out with the good folks at Golden Boy. And of course all the great fans that come around. So if you're coming to LA just because you were gonna come to the Mares fight, and you're a big Mares fight because you're a big fan of his style, there's no better way to enjoy your weekend than actually going to his Golden Boy fight. I know I will. I'll be there. Show up, buy me a beer, have a good time, guys. Other than that, guys, I believe that's it for the weekend. Again, remember to subscribe, share to your friends and family. We got over 1,000 views already, and it's only been like 3 episodes. Actually, yeah, way over 1,000. We're about to hit 2,000. So again, thank you so much for all of you guys that are listening. I know it takes time to download, to search, because sometimes it's not that easy to search for the Mr. Boxing Guru podcast. But nonetheless, you guys have done it. Again, thank you so much. I'll see you guys at the fights, and hopefully we have a great time, guys. All right. Thank you so much. Have a good one. Se la lavan.